So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Here we have a Russian model that I'm going to show you how to draw this portrait. And it's a famous celebrity Russian model. And what, for our purposes, this is different from doing illustrations of your own. Here you're going to have to draw what you see and not what you imagine. So you're stuck with having to do a portrait that looks like her rather than your own manga style drawing or whatever. It's different from that kind of thing, okay? This is portrait work. That's very serious study, and it's something that artists have to constantly do. I recommend it's raw practice. It is just with a paper and a pencil. Okay, so let's begin, and I'm going to show you right now. I'm using just two pencils, a light one and a dark one, okay? So how do you begin doing this? You have to begin, first of all, by thinking about, there are many ways to start, and there are three elements. You have to begin and you have to finish it. And you have to, that's the process, right? So to begin, there are many different ways. You can begin with the eye as a reference point, the forehead as a reference point, or the hairlines as a reference point, and build. But you can also do it a different way, and I'm going to show you today this way. And it's an excellent way for you to use this cell phone as a way for you to do your studies, okay? So I'm just looking at the basic shapes first, okay? So let's begin with the head. And always see the line before you draw it, you see, like so, okay? And I'm trying to establish right now the basic distances and the basic broader shapes, like for example the way the distance from here all the way down to here, and I'm looking for this, and you see that the chin, so this is the broader shape that I began with first, okay? Always referring back to this. You see she has this line here, and then that's going down this way, okay? So there you go. A basic, at this point my concern is about these distances. So I'm going to draw a little map to just make points, and this is a good way for you to start mapping it out. So see how I judge this distance, and I can draw a line coming straight down because I want her face to be facing me, the tilt of the head. So this is my line of, I can draw a straight line coming down because I want her face to look like so, okay? The eyes will be here. This is disappearing into the hairline right there, right? And I'm going to come this way and follow the line and make a judgment about how long the nose is, probably here. I'm going to do that right there, just a little mark for now, because I want to make adjustments later. So I began with drawing the basic outer shape, right, like this, and then judge these distances, right? So let's continue to refine this, okay? So here is where the eyebrows are going up like that. This is coming down this way. And now for the mouth, I'm going to make a judgment. Here is the top of the lip. The bottom of the lip is right here. You see how I'm making a mark? Right there is the lip. All right, and then I'm going to have to make an adjustment to the chin and the way the direction is. So always keep an eraser handy, and you can fix that. Okay, there you go. So now I have a basic map, I just put my points to see where everything falls. Now let's look at the eye. And you're going to make that judgment here. There's a shadow, and the eye begins right here. In other words, you want to make sure that there's enough room for you to go here to here, and you can draw a straight line here. This is where the eyes begin. It's going to come up like so, ends here, like that. All right, and then here, and the eye is disappearing into the hair, like so, okay? This is a general, at this point, a nice map out, and you see how I did that nicely? And this is because I'm using my mind to visualize the lines before I draw them. Here is the example, okay? Once again, people, there you go, boom. You see how I see that first? I'm seeing it first. See, I'm not drawing it, but I'm seeing the line, like it's going down like that, curving like this. And then as I see it, I'm going to lay it down. And there's the shadow line. The shadow line is right like that. And then there's the shadow line like so, like that. All right? Something like so. Now as we continue, now that I've established these distances, which are very important, I can go back and erase this a little bit to make it nicer. Okay? And we're going to do this in two parts, all right? So watch this now. We're going to go back up here and look for the details of the eyes in a minute. But first, let's establish the distances again. Let's take a look at the eyebrow. Let's go and look back at the nose. Is this correct? Right? And then this one here, the bridge of the nose. You want to make sure the bridge of the nose is coming all the way down. Nicely like that. Okay. And there's a shadow on the side. A line for the shadow. There's a shadow on this side as well. All right. And now I'm just refining and going and working around the map that I already laid out, okay? So here we have the eyebrow, a little bit thicker, and this is a little bit thicker, okay? Now let's continue drawing the lip, the under part of the nose, and the shadow. You must be able to, this is a little bit tricky, but you'll get it from practice. You need to keep on practicing. That's one of the reasons I'm putting all these things up there, guys. Please definitely go back and look at all of them and draw all of them. And support my channel. So definitely subscribe. That will help. Thank you so much. All right, so there you go. And so we have now the basic layout, and you see the bottom part of the nose. This one, the shadowy part right there, you need to get that in. And see, that's going to be, like I said, a little tricky because it's facing you forward. It's not a profile. So you have to be able to pop this up on top. Okay, you see that there are elements to it. This is the front. And going up the bridge like that. You see that? Now, you see, let's first establish, I'm not worried about the details at this point, I was just talking about it. But I'm going to come back to fixing the details in a minute. But at this point, once again, our concern is to establish the broader elements of this, which is now the lip and how far the lips stretch on either side, you see, right there, and how the tilt is. And once again, I'm looking at this reference of the drawing itself, and all right, I'm looking at the reference and then going from there. So there's that little, right? There we have the lip. Now the lower lip is coming down, and I'm going to make the judgment to see if the upper lip is thicker than the lower lip, or if the lower lip is thicker, or if it's thin. Those are what I'm thinking about at this time. And there you go. Now I might want to have to adjust the chin again a little bit, make it longer. Probably it's right there. Right like that, okay? So something like so. And this could actually be a little bit longer. And we have a second part of the eyelid on the top, the lower eyelid. And then the same thing up here. You have to mimic this correctly with the second eye. So just as that bend up there like that, you're going to have to make the same bend here. Go with the upper eyelid. And now we have a little bit of what it looks like her, okay? So now I'm going to make a little bit broader judgments to see that it matches. Once again, we only have 15 minutes on each, so we only have 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left for this. So as I can show you this, see, we almost got the... And so this is the way you're going to have to practice when you draw your... Right, and I want to make that judgment clearly. You don't want this to be too broad or too small, so the hair must be exact. These are the judgments that are very important to get the likeness. So for example, you see when I erase this, you'll see that it's going to look more like her. You see that? Right away. And you see this, the where the eye meets, where the eye ends, right? As you can see right here, the eye is ending right there. So I'm talking about this distance, right? Is very critically important while you're talking about getting the likeness, right? In the portrait. So you see the distance between this and this? That must be, and here I'm beginning to shade a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just 2 minutes left. So in the second part, I'm going to shade this. Please tune into the second part and definitely play this back, go over it, practice it, keep on practicing. I'm telling you, this is an excellent, excellent activity that is therapeutic. Believe me, it's completely therapeutic. In fact, I was going to do one about how to do mental therapy using art, okay? And you see how I thickened that a little bit? I'm going to have to go back and erase that. These are all mistakes that you're going to learn from as you go along. But that's why you have our wonderful eraser for us to fix all this. So you see how she's beginning to look more and more like her. And these are all simple things that we talked about, which is judging the proportions correctly, beginning with basic forms, and then laying out the rest of it, always keeping in mind that you're visualizing. You're looking at the picture in your mind, and then you're projecting it onto the paper. So ladies and gentlemen, this is part 1. Please tune into part 2. I'm going to show you, and definitely don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. All right, thank you very much. See you all soon in part 2.